Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of these interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike, and today with me a special guest from Western Europe. We're getting a lot closer to me now, geographically. To get us started, do you mind introducing yourself and the game we're here to talk about?
Yeah, I'm known as Coldumber Online. I'm a game developer. We are making the game Dice and Goblins, which is a game about crawling into a dungeon as a little goblin and fighting monster with dice. And this is our first game, and we hope it will be successful.
But so yeah, it is a time in the industry where a lot of people are finding obviously success, a lot of people are also not finding success. So hopefully, kind of, you guys find your good little niche here. Kind of jumping in here, I'm curious. So as you said, this is the team's first game. Where did kind of the idea for Dice and Goblins of kind of this team kind of come from?
Oh, it's a bit long. Basically, before I was working in tech, and I was playing a lot of dungeon crawler games, and I wanted to do one. And at some point, I just quit my job, which was maybe not the best plan, but I wanted something fresh, and I started working on this game. I was also playing a lot of board games. I was seeing that a lot of dice game were not very explored yet in the gaming space, but it's very explored in the board game space. So I wanted to take my experience with board games mechanic and bring it to video games. And yeah, I was just doing my little thing, and we got some traction. And then I brought my partner to work with me and market the game and finish it. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm good here. So you said you kind of gained some traction. The board game space, you're kind of familiar with that space. What to you kind of, or maybe there isn't one. Is there any sort of like difference you see in like the players or what the players want kind of in those like board game spaces versus obviously this being like a video game primarily?
So it's very hard because to answer this question because it's the first time I'm making both. um, but I would say that video game players are much more sensitive to the polish of a game, where board game player might be much more sensitive as the design of the game, how it makes them feel, because you're playing with people often, and the emotion are not the same. And but for video game person, I feel like players. I feel like the polish of a game is much more important. Like how fast does it play? Does it have stutters? Is this looking good? And this kind of thing. Uh, yeah, that's the main difference I think I'm seeing. But maybe if you ask someone else, they will have a different answer.
No, that I actually tend to think that seems very accurate. So like to me when I think of like video game mechanically, right? So we can do like you can do a lot more because obviously there's computers kind of running the like calculations in the back end. And also players tend to really care about this art of like how it feels. Where like in board games, so much of a game is either moving a piece around or just rolling a dice or like it's all about like the abstract decision, right? It's like, sure, my decision is where do I want to move this warship and attack, but I'm really just rolling a dice. So like board game players I think are very much okay accepting those realities. Where like I feel like video game players a lot of times if I just said to move this thing around and make a decision, you're just rolling dice, and we didn't like do things to hide that dice roll or do things to make the dice roll like pretty or whatever. Kind of, a lot of them would just be like, "Well, I'm just moving dice. Why does this matter?" Which I do think kind of is that very interesting disconnect.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So kind of what I find interesting too. So as we're talking, obviously the game comes out Q1. We'll kind of get to that later, but You have currently a demo out on Steam. I'm kind of
Yeah, we
curious
have, yeah.
how's the demo kind of been received, kind of, and then how kind of has it changed kind of that development process?
So we have a demo, like we have an internal demo since a year, I think, and more, and I think since November 2023. Well, we had one demo in June 2023, and then we went doing something else. And in November, we had a new demo and make it play to people we know. And then we put it on Steam uh, some months ago. And since then, we receive a lot of feedback because at the end of the demo, when you close the demo, there is a form say, "Hey, what can you say about the game?" So gamers just give you feedback. And with that feedback, we really improve the game. I think, like the pacing and some sort of issues they have. Um, it's it's kinda nice to have that much feedback. Um, and also, we presented the demo at local events, and you also have different feedback. If you see person doing stuff live, you can see them. If they come from different backgrounds, Steam users, I would say they are like very specialized gamers. So they they get the games usually, and when you put someone that doesn't play a lot of games, they will react very differently, and you can only see that if you're behind them, I would say.
No, I do think that's very true because I tend to agree with you. There tends to be the feedback the players give you, right? So I feel like you're getting a lot of that on like the Steam demo or what they're verbally telling you. But it's also like the feedback of what they actually mean or what they don't know they should be telling you, which is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
almost more. I once heard the saying, and I think it's very true. Is players are really good at finding problems, but they're not really good at finding solutions. I was curious, kind of, if that was been kind of true. What you've noticed too, of like, oh, players are really good at pointing out this thing's not working, but like they don't fully kind of always see why it's not working.
Mm, sometimes they just complain about something, and you have to do like they do not tell you solution. There is some that tries to, and you have to take it into account, not like necessarily listen, but right away, but understand what they want. And but you have also some people that say, "Oh, you implemented this wrong. You should do it using that." They have no idea what you're doing, but they will tell you anyway. That's very funny as well. Um, yeah,
Those
you
are
have all
the
sort of
funniest.
feedback, to be honest.
No, I do always appreciate the feedback. We're like they try to give it back to you. You're just like, oh no, you've helped me with this thing, but like the feedback you're giving me, it's like it's not actually fucking gonna fix it. Um, so
Yeah, it's always an information that you can add to your arsenal.
I was like curious too. So obviously, like when you're in person, it's easy to control the volume of feedback because it's like you only can talk to so many people. But obviously, like online, you have the problem of like anyone give feedback and all that. How did you kind of handle or kind of deal with kind of the now influx of feedback you started getting? Was there some level of like you guys just reviewed Steam forums and just decided what mattered, what not? What did you guys kind of have a more formally process? How did you kind of control to make sure you weren't overwhelmed by that feedback?
um, well, it's very different because I have a scientific background. I was working in tech, and when you had feedback, usually you would just fix the problem. Like it was objective kind of feedback. Something is not working, fix it, done. But uh, here it was very difficult to handle stuff that is a matter of taste. And I think it was the most difficult, like to handle feedback related to your art or your decision in that department, was not something I was used to take into account, and I didn't know how to process it at first. Now I have some distance, and to decide on something, if we should act on it, if some feedback come often, we will act on it, and if it's not like changing the whole game, sometimes they say, yeah, we have crazy feedback like, oh, you should make it like Persona 5, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, I do like the feedback where they're just like make a different game, and you're like, I appreciate that feedback. I will consider it, but like I'm just not gonna take it. Like,
Yeah. People like things, I think, and you see if you want to give them this thing in a timely manner or not.
but let's kind of jump in higher. So you said the demo, but obviously we're talking about obviously as you were heading towards kind of getting this game out there. What kind of imagine I'm like a player. I'm about to sit down. What does kind of like that first hour or two? What does that gameplay loop kind of look like? Am I kind of choosing the dungeon going in? Is it more like a more linear kind of? Is there more paths? What does it kind of look like? What am I doing?
Oh,
Kind of what
so
decisions I'm
it's
making?
it's a linear game where you have around 10 big levels where you have to find your way in. Along the level, you can pick up items and you can equip them as you want, and that will make a sort of build that you can use to fight monsters. Basically, the gameplay loop will be find where to go, get back to rest, find where to go, get back to rest, and fight monster in between. We have a full story with little cutscenes, and hopefully people will find it compelling and fun.
No, that's perfect. I want to jump kind of with that in mind. That obviously, so the big part of this game is the battle system, right? You're an RPG kind of. You're,
Yeah.
as we said, you're dice and goblins. The word dice comes in. Can we kind of talk about kind of how does this kind of battle system work, and kind of what makes it unique versus maybe other systems kind of out there?
So I'm trying to be careful with my words, but so on the board game side, I really enjoyed something that is called one deck dungeon, which is not a deck building game; it's like a dice game, which is very funny. And what is really nice in this kind of game is that you have to make decision each turn. And what I didn't like in a lot of dice games that I was seeing, like video games that are dice game, is that you get your dice, you just allocate them in boxes, but you cannot manipulate them. You cannot change it. You can sometimes re-roll it. And in Dice and Goblins, you get your dice, and maybe you did a bad roll, but it's not the end of the world because you have some sort of skills that you can use to change it to another side, exchange it to another type of dice. And I think that it's a bit more engaging for the player. But yeah, this is what I think is fun. And then you have a limited amount of dice you can take with you. And I'm sorry, I'm going far into this.
No, no, you're
You have a
totally good.
limited amount of dice, you choose them. All these dice has combos on them. So what is a combo is that if you make certain combination, you get a bonus. So you get a bad roll. You will maybe manipulate it slightly, and it will be a very good roll. And I think this is very rewarding when that happens.
No, that's it's interesting because dice like is a mechanic where good games use dice all the time, right? It's basically just randomized so
Yeah.
that we like make decisions. But like games definitely, at least like video games, try to hide being like what dice like. But obviously you're very leaning into it. Have you kind of had to play with this level of like making it still feel like a dice, but like kind of more doing things so the players have more decision, just kind of rolling that dice? I'm kind of curious how that went from like maybe random to a little more active decisions with randomization kind of thrown in that system.
Um, I'm not sure I understand completely the question.
Like
Can you?
like yeah, so like when I'm like rolling the dice to kind of get these actions out, what
Yeah.
is like the decisions I guess am I making? Is it kind of like, oh, I put these weapons so it adjusted the dice on these guys? Kind of what is that kind of, how does the dice kind of feed in?
Um, well, in the game, you will make a roll, and maybe it will give you that much attack. I don't know. But maybe the enemy is also attacking you, and you want to survive this turn. So you will, for example, change it to a defense dice, and you can survive one turn more and kill the enemy the turn after. Is this kind of little decision that you can make to balance the game. Well, we're still balancing with our testers right now. The demo is very easy because I didn't want people to feel cheated at first, but we will increasingly making more difficult as the level goes up, you know. Um,
No, that
you have to make the player believe always that it's not decided in advance, because dice, you know, they have um, it feels very random for a player, but it's not very random.
yeah, it
You throw that many dice, it will give you this expected value.
it's
There is some enemies that you mathematically can't die against them, but if you're doing a bad roll for the player, it will feel bad, even if you don't die, you know. So you need to give them tool to be able to be in control. I I don't know if I answered the question.
no, I think you actually very much did. Because especially like the thing of like kind of making sure with the, because that's the thing all of these like too, because the nature of randomization kind of, even if something is balanced, you always have that little like unknown kind of piece in there. I'm curious too. So you said the demo, you said obviously is very easy, and obviously you're kind of looking at balance as you're finishing up development here. What what's kind of the goal from that point of view? Is it like you want this to be like the players can mostly kind of get through stuff pretty easily, but they might have to like stop and grind? Are you looking for like maybe that older look where you kind of like really kind of prepare for battles? Are you kind of looking something between, kind of what is kind of your goal, maybe the level of like stress and difficulty that players should experience kind of going through this?
So the game um, is coming from some tradition of hardcore RPG like Wizardry and stuff like this, but we are making it much more approachable. I don't want to stress the player too much. I also made the level so you, all the levels, they come back in loops. So you can stop playing the game every, I don't know, 10, 13 minutes. And I really don't want to stress the player too much, but I also want him to stay engaged with the system enough. So we're looking to get a balance where they're forced to use their brain, but maybe not always, you know. Boss battle should be tough. Uh, Maybe the trash enemies you've seen like 10 times, you would not need as much brain power.
Well, that say that totally makes sense. So obviously the game we've been talking about here is Dice and Goblins. Um, Obviously currently on Steam it's listed for Q1 of this year. Is that kind of still your goal target window?
Yeah, we will want to release after the next fest. Probably we will announce release date then.
Perfect. I'm kind of curious, kind of just throwing it back to you here. Is there anything either mechanically or story, or anything else that you feel like we've missed that you really want to shout out and make people know about Dice and Goblins?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of little characters in the game. Um, we've been inspired by mostly. I was reading a lot of Le Guin, which is a fantasy and science fiction author. So you can expect something in that mood. It's like a gentle mood. And yeah, we have a lot of little characters. They talk. There is a stories. You have this infinite dungeon, and they go explore stuff. It's kind of fun.
Oh, perfect. Well, so I'm curious. So, as you said, a bunch of little characters, all that fun stuff. Is there any character of yours that stands out as like a favorite of yours?
Oh, I think I like the main character a lot, but also the sidekick is called Skelly, and he looks like a skeleton, obviously. That is always lazy, and I really like him. He's like
He's the
really kind of
one. Is he the one on like the Steam? Yeah, yeah, he's one on the Steam page. I kind of see floating on some of the screens
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Which also I'm curious too. So obviously they have a little very like a very specific style you kind of have for the main characters here. That's almost that like hand drawn-y, like looks out of a storybook kind of look. Was that kind of always the goal of this? Or was that one of the things that kind of happened over time?
Oh, it's a thing that can happen. Since it's our first game, it's just my drawings, and I don't know how to draw, so I took an art style that would match my amount of skills.
Hey, we all have limitations. You're objectively a better artist than me, and honestly, and I really one of the things is I do like that this look is a very good, especially your battles. I feel like is where you like has that good standout, especially against the 3D backgrounds.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
oh yeah, no, it's very much has really like that look. So yeah, again, the game is Dice and Goblins. Uh, comes out relatively soon. It'll be announced after next fix, as you learned here. You can go download the demo currently on Steam. Go wishlist the game. Anywhere else that we should be sending people to go check out the game or your work?
No, I think Steam is okay. I'm also on Blue Sky if you want to follow me.
Perfect. Well, again, I want to say thank you for talking to me today. Again, everyone can go find all those links on the Steam page. Dice, Apostrophe, and Goblins. And again, best of luck as you are finishing development and heading towards launch here.
Thank you so much, and thank you for letting me talk.